Here we are, inside Studio J with Delta Rae.
Here we are.
Hi.
We're so happy to be here.
Thanks for coming, Eric and Liz. Appreciate you being here.
So great.
Thanks for having us.
I want to start with a big thanks. You played that music fest this summer and did an incredible job on stage. For me, it was probably the most talked about performance.
Wow.
That
Really?
It was
so
a lot
great
of
to
fun.
hear.
How
Yeah.
was the heat, though? Because you were on when the sun was right coming at you.
Yeah. So it depends who you ask. I think Eric sunburns a lot more easily than I
did,
do.
and I
Yeah.
did that day. Yep, I'm consistent.
I have a pretty high heat tolerance, so
Yeah.
I don't mind it. I would always prefer to be hot and sweaty than cold and shivering.
That's for sure. Hot, sweaty shows, I prefer it.
Oh, well, then we definitely delivered on that.
Yeah, and
Yes.
playing in the Bulls Stadium was so fun.
That was
Yeah,
really
really
fun.
Cool spot.
Yeah.
It was great having you. And speaking of shows, you've got two shows, one tonight and tomorrow night at the Lincoln Theater.
Yes.
Yes, they're Wednesday and Thursday
Yep.
of this week.
Yep. Two shows, acoustic and a holiday show.
Yes.
There's some obvious differences, but I'm curious about the holiday show.
Yeah.
So the new album is out.
Yeah, Hours Before Morning. It's our
Right.
first holiday album. It came out a week ago. So
Yeah,
it's pretty
day
new.
after
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yep.
We've had time to practice and learn all the songs, and it's going to be no problem.
We hope so. We actually have a rehearsal. We're rehearsing we rehearsed yesterday and we'll rehearse again today. So
Okay.
just try to
Yep.
make sure we get it all. And we're also playing the shows with a string quartet. So
Oh my gosh.
so that also requires some layers of communication, making sure we've got all of our stuff together.
Yeah, and LincolnTheater.com for tickets.
Yes,
yeah, or
please.
you can go to deltaraebandtalk.com as well
Okay.
to get the tickets, and you can actually get a package if you want to come to both nights. Lincoln is selling a package of both tickets.
Awesome. Tell me about your origins. How did the band get together?
North Carolina is our home state.
Yeah.
The band was born in 2009 in Durham.
Here? Yeah.
Yeah, we actually, my brother was able, he saved up enough money to buy a very big drafty house in the woods of Durham, North Carolina. So we all moved in together and had like $200 rent each. And we just started singing. We all had part-time jobs on the weekend, and then we would part-time jobs on the week and tour on the weekends. And we grew up together, so it's three siblings,
Yeah.
three friends,
Yeah.
and I've been singing with Liz for 25 years now or something like that.
Wow.
And because we sang in middle school in California. But when we wanted to start the best band that we could imagine, we asked Liz if she would join, and called my sister, and she moved from California. And so we all moved into this house together and then would tour, and it started catching fire, and we've been doing it for now 12, almost 13 years.
Yeah,
So
we've been lucky enough to have the same lineup since 2009. So
Wow.
it's the six of us rocking it out.
What brought you here originally?
I was born here.
Okay.
And my brother and I were born here. So it's always felt like a bit of a home base. And so we moved around a lot as kids, eventually found ourselves in California. That's where we met Liz.
Yeah.
But we came back for college and just fell in love with it again and stayed. And so every time we come back, honestly, like I live in New York right now, and a part of me wishes I could just stay here again.
Yeah.
I just really love it, really deeply love it. So it was a perfect place to start a band.
Did you know music was going to be a thing when you started college? Or
I did not. I was not a music major at all, and I grew up loving singing and performance, but kind of thought I would take like a more, in quotation marks, stable path.
yeah.
But was so glad when these guys reached out to me because now I really can't imagine doing something other than singing or music. I mean, like if I have to, I will. But this is definitely what I feel born to do. So I was just so grateful when Eric and his brother Ian reached out to me and asked me to be part of their band, because I had always respected their songwriting and had been. I think I was listening to Eric play piano in his room when we were like 12 and 13 years old.
Totally.
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my brother and I started writing music when I was like 9. So we knew we always wanted to keep creating. And I actually went to college, the same college he did. We went to Duke. So I was like, we were thick as thieves, and we started bands on campus. We always knew we wanted to go into music. So as soon as we graduated, it was like, how do we put together the best band we can? And that's when we called Liz, who's just such a natural singer, and my sister, who's such a natural singer. And it was just magic. We got really lucky, but everybody was available and into it. And
Were you in school to make music, though, or were you pursuing something else? Like, what else would you be doing if this hadn't worked out?
Oh, wow. We think about that all the time, honestly, especially
Yeah.
during the pandemic. It was like, because we couldn't do our jobs.
Right.
So I would be a contractor.
Okay.
I think, Liz, you would be a teacher, didn't you say?
I probably would, yeah, be a
Yeah.
teacher. When we are off the road, I do a lot. I work with kids at the School of Rock here in Raleigh.
Oh, yeah.
So, I
Yeah.
mean, in ways, yes, I am a teacher. But I like working
Yeah.
with kids, so that's
Okay.
probably what I would do.
Let's talk about the holiday album again. How was it different putting that project together, working on the music for that album versus the other albums that you've done?
It was so fun. So we've been doing this experiment because we've been a band for so long.
Yeah.
We finally had the courage to try to go back and do records the way that kind of our favorite bands did and the 70s bands, where they would record it live. They would actually play all hooked up together in a room, hit record, and capture a moment.
Yeah.
And we felt like we were finally like totally in sync enough to really double down. So not only did we do that, that's how we recorded Hours Before Morning. It's all live, but we also invited our fans to be in the studio with us. We had like
What?
25 fans
Yeah,
in the studio.
It's a beautiful space just outside of Nashville called.
Yeah, Gallatin is the town, and our friend's studio is amazing. And then, but on top of that, we also we set up cameras all around the studio, and we did a live stream. So people could watch from their living rooms, or they could be in the room with us. But we just tripled down on, let's be a part of this moment together, and then let's crystallize it, put it on an album, and send it out. So it was a lot
That's
of pressure,
amazing.
a lot of pressure, but that's actually how we did the acoustic album this year as well. And it's just magic. Like that's, I think, with the new way that we want to create music, is really capturing special moments with our fans.
Yeah, I don't know that I've ever heard that being done before.
It's really fun, and that's why it's so fun with the shows that we're playing tonight and tomorrow. The acoustic album is the album that we recorded live in
Yeah.
February of this year, and the holiday show is the holiday album that we just recorded in October.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard.
It is
So
hard.
I think it is rare, but it's funny because the technology in the 70s, this is what you could do. It's you had tape and you had 12 tracks, and it's best to capture it all at once. And but then technology just evolved so that it was a lot easier. You could track everything one at a time, and that's how records started getting made.
Yeah.
So we're kind of making the choice to go back now that we've been doing it for so long, because we think that's where the specialness and the magic is. And when you hear these albums, you'll hear it. It's hard to put your finger on exactly, but it feels like you're listening to a moment.
Yeah, because at a live show and you're in front of a crowd, they're giving you what probably feels like a physical energy back while you're performing
You
on
nailed it.
stage, right?
Absolutely.
What
100%.
happens in a studio when they're not jumping around and yelling, and like how are they participating in that process with you, or how do you feel? How are they engaging with you or connecting with you?
It was really fun and cute. I mean, our fans are so sweet and thoughtful, and they're such deep thinkers and deep feelers. I think very much the way everyone in Delta Rae is also. So when they know it's time to be quiet, they all kind of are like little kids, like, okay, let's be quiet. And you can
Yeah.
see them all together quieting down. And then when it's over and they're allowed to applaud, they do that too. So they're riding the wave with us. I don't know if that answers your
they
question,
changed
but-
the air. It's much like
Yeah.
what this recording we're doing right now. It's
Yeah.
like we were just talking before we went live, but like as soon as we go live, this is the energy
Yeah,
changes, right?
right.
And so that's the feeling that it's really hard to get in a studio. And but if you let people in, and they're respectful enough, like you can really. That's what we're experiencing. It's like you can capture that again.
Yeah, and people can see it for themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Lincoln Theater. LincolnTheater.com for tickets.
Yeah.
Liz and Eric from Delta Rae, thank you so much for coming by.
Thank
we are
you.
so excited. Thank you for having us.